It's like people say to me all the time, like, I can't believe you never got married. You're so pretty. Oh, so only pretty girls get married. Let me tell you, when I was growing up, I was not the pretty girl. I think they think that way because I'm so confident. It's not like your skin is so beautiful, your body's so beautiful, although they might say those things. I believe what they're saying to me is, your confidence is so beautiful. How do I get that?
Heidi, I'm so incredibly, genuinely excited to be doing that. You're an incredible storyteller. I have been trying to have a bigger presence on social media myself and to sort of integrate my style and my spirituality and all the things that I think about. And you're one of my role models.
Oh gosh, thank you.
Even though it might appear that you're just so casually talking about life and while you're getting dressed, and I really love that combo. You really are doing it in such a thoughtful way, and your message is so clearly powerful and empowering to other people.
Well, thank you very much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I never think of myself as good with words. I just made fun of myself and my use of words the other day, but I am a good writer. I have to say that I am a good writer, and I do tell a good 30-second Instagram story, sometimes 50.
You are really good at it. And was it something that happened immediately, or was it a process?
No, you can actually go back and look at my TikTok beginnings. My first post, which was just me standing in an outfit, like sort of moving to some music. And then I decided to start writing things. And then the audience kind of dictated what I spoke more about based on what they were interested in hearing. But all of it has been such a Gen Z influenced freedom that I don't think would have happened had I not been on an app that was so accepting of me, a woman at 64, 63 at the time, on an app where my following is almost all under 35.
Yeah, I know. We have the same thing. And whenever we talk about older women, whenever we feature older women, they're always among the most popular, which is why I'm sort of kicking myself to get out there more and to exercise that. It's definitely nerve-wracking, and I have a way easier time putting someone else in front.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for 15 years. And often my daughter, Lily, who's my partner at StyleLikeU, she always says, just what you're saying right now, just go say it.
Well, that's the secret, is to not think about what it means and what the outcome is, and to just do it authentically and hope that your authentic voice cuts through, but to not be so precious about what you
Yeah.
post. I mean, I'm 100% authentic in what I post. I mean, it would suck if everybody wrote like nasty comments, but I'm really lucky. I get beautiful comments from people and notes from people. And I think the authenticity is the secret sauce, that and not caring about what you're posting.
I think that in a way, that's sort of the lesson of life. I think.
100%. Who cares if it's not perfect? You do. You're the one putting all the restraints on your own posting. Nobody else knows that you made a mistake. Nobody else knows that you're being less eloquent than normal. Nobody else knows that this could be raised a level. Like, if you spend all your time trying to perfect something, you're wasting magical, imperfect, authentic moments.
It is really fascinating to me how social media, for all of its evils, really can smell authenticity. He kind of can't get away with it.
That's the kids. That's the Gen Z influence. They do not suffer fools, especially the girls. They're like, yep, nope, no, I'm not here for that.
Yeah.
I'm not here for your baby boomer patriarchy bullshit that you put up with. I'm not going to take it. And I love that, because that has been my story my whole life. Like, I'm not here for your baby boomer patriarchal bullshit either. But most people didn't talk like me growing up, and most people do talk like Gen Z girls now.
What do you mean by?
We weren't taught to be honest, to challenge men, to ask for more. And I think Gen Z girls do.
Right.
I think they're questioning the norm. I mean, I think they're just as confused as we were, but I think they're questioning it at least.
So, how are you feeling right now? in this moment?
In this moment right now today,
And what about the world? What's happening in the world?
it's embarrassing and disgraceful and disappointing. And, I was watching the news the other day, and in one day, I was watching Holocaust survivors tell their stories. I was watching hostages be released. I was watching Gazans return to just absolute rubble while Mexicans were being thrown out of the country. And I just thought, what the fuck time am I living in right now? Why is everything upside down and just so filled with hate? And I don't have a sense that we're going to be heading anywhere good anywhere soon. And that's a really shitty place to be.
Yes. I'm more optimistic than that. I'm kind of like an earnest optimist that way. I think we are in absolute chaos and darkness. I obviously agree with you, and it's really really overwhelming. In particular, this exact moment, a week of Trump being inaugurated and everything else that's going on, the fires in LA. But I wonder. I always need to find of like why is this happening, and a belief that they're that at our core we're not like this. So my feeling is that just like a person has to look at their darkness in order to heal and to grow and to step through your fears and all of that, I feel like the society has to do, we are the society, we
Yeah.
make the society.
Unfortunately, half of society does not feel like they have any work to do. And that's a problem.
Hmm.
Like, what crazy kind of world is that? How do I tell half of the country that they got it wrong? They just got it wrong this time. Not that they got it right the last time, but he could do so much damage that we never come out the other side. So it's really hard for me to be
Mm.
positive about what he's doing right now. And so I choose to be positive about my own world and my own life and what I can control and what messages I put out to people. I don't spend a lot of time doing political stuff. I try to just continue uh to inspire people, but it rubs right up against my what I live in every day.
Right. I mean, yes, and I agree with you. I think actually what you said just now is will be what will make the change. That it begins at home. It begins within. Like you have to start with yourself, and you have to be good with yourself, and you have to know yourself,
Right.
and then the choices that you make, for everything from smiling to someone or asking them how they are, or all of the actions and all of the things that will come from that place is what will make the difference, the
Right.
collective, on a collective level.
Right. And
So
that's why I do what I do. And that's why I'm so happy when I hear from people that I change their mind about something, that they feel better about aging, that they feel less crazy about trying to pick their outfits, that they feel better about being 30 and not, hitting all the markers on some list that they didn't write. That's the good thing about social media.
and it's all connected. It's connected to this, the ultimate patriarchal, love of power figure, as opposed to power of love person. That idea that you have to take power from someone to feel good about yourself, rather than we all have the same power. And if you feel that power, then you don't need to take it from someone else.
Yeah.
So, we're being faced with that in a really big way. And it's why everything that anyone does, like you confronting ageism, like everything else, racism, everything, it embodies all of the patriarchal issues.
Yeah, totally. Ageism is definitely firmly planted in the patriarchy.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, just, from the time advertising was born, when they decided that in order to sell things, they needed to pit young women against old women and make old bad and young good. And,
Hmm.
from the covers of magazines that were all run by men and products that were all created by men. And we weren't in the Constitution, so we didn't matter that much. And we've just been this sort of thing that men have decided to govern what we do, how we do it, when we get pregnant, when we get married, that we get married. I mean, these are all things that no woman was part of that drawing up of papers that made these things normal. And so everything about women is patriarchal. The fact that we sit around and talk about what women look like on a red carpet when we're doing an entertainment
Mm.
show, because we're all run by men, all of these shows. So, and then when
Hmm.
women took over, we just sort of, we had already thrown our dicks on the table just to be part of the management team. So we just sort of followed the rules and went along with all the shit they were saying anyway. I mean, I'm just as guilty of doing some of the things that I now find horrifying when I was a boss.
Like what?
Like changing a woman's outfit on a set because I could see her back fat. Who cares? Or, wanting to put somebody in Spanx because they were too heavy. Or, not changing the way men talk to women in certain scenes, not reporting on certain things. Like when I was in entertainment news, the shit we said about Monica Lewinsky, she was a child that was like assaulted, basically,
Hmm.
So we're just always making women the villain. And that is patriarchal. That is misogyny. That is, you know, the way of the world, or at least this country.
Yes. So what can you tell me what your style says about you in that vein?
I mean, I don't even know what my style is. I just know that I will wear anything that I feel confident in. I might be dressed in like super preppy Catholic schoolgirl outfit one day and in a leather rocker outfit the next. So to me, style is just me. It's just my
Hmm.
confidence. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, their style is like they always look this way. And I don't always look a certain way.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think of style as any there's no perfect answer to that question.
Right.
It's you could wear the same thing every day. It doesn't matter. Like it's just it is you
Yeah,
and
it's me. It's me. It's my attitude. It's my thought. It's everything. It's how you carry yourself. It's your confidence. It's knowing how to not let your clothes wear you, but you wear your clothes.
and how have you always been so free to dress so authentically?
I don't think so. I think um, when I was younger, I always liked style. I always liked clothing. I mean, I think when I turned 50, I kind of lost my style and got into that headset that a lot of women get into, which is like, oh, am I too old to wear this now? And it took me until 60 and being on these apps and seeing the way other people dress and be like, oh, I could wear that. Like I always say, I dress like a 13-year-old skater boy for the most part. That's my comfort zone. And I think I learned that on TikTok and from watching other people and just seeing like, oh, I could wear that and do it this way and make it mine. Like I always want to be individual. I don't want to look like everybody else. I don't want to know what the trends are. I don't care. And sometimes I like a trend that's happening, but I'm old enough to know that that trend's been here before. It's just about having how you look be an expression of who you are. And I think that my style, including my sleeve tattoos, including the gap in my teeth, including the
Hmm.
hats that I like to wear, including my gray hair, all of it comes together to make me.
Exactly. And can we see your tattoos?
Sure. It's mostly sleeve tattoos, but I can't get to all of them sadly, but
Okay.
they are mostly flowers, butterflies, and things. And it's mostly just my two arms.
How long have you been doing that?
Since I turned 50. So 14 years, not very long. I started late, which I highly recommend.
I really came into myself in my when I turned 50. That was when I started Style Like You and when I really understood why I had to fall on my face as many times as I had to and pick myself back up again. And it all started to make sense in my 50s.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's when we as women start to go, what the fuck have I been doing? Like, Who have I been listening to all these years? And why am I listening to them? I don't even like that kind of pain.
Right. Or heel, the heel,
It's just so much more interesting to have your own sense of style. Some people can do that wearing black every day because it's just part of all of the things that make up who they are, you know.
Did you ever think about dyeing your hair?
I did. It was red for 40 years. To the point where when I let my gray grow out, I didn't remember that I had brown hair.
Oh, wow.
It's quite brown.
So what was the decision what was the process to let the hair go gray?
Um, Again, I had seen a lot of 25-year-olds dyeing their hair gray, silver, and I was like, well, fuck, I've got that on my head. I'm going to let it grow out. I just was so sick of sitting in a chair for 3 hours putting chemicals in my head. For who? Like, it wasn't for me. I don't give a shit if I have gray roots. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, a lot of people said like, "Oh, you're going to look so old." Like, okay, well, I am. Why is old a bad word? Not to me, anyway.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly why it's so radical, because if we followed the status quo and you start to freak out about being old at 30.
Yeah, I don't remember
Um,
that. I think that is a definite social media problem that was created by social media. 30-year-olds thinking they're old and 20-year-olds.
and doing a lot of like Botox and
That's my bread and butter, convincing them they're not old.
the whole problem is that with style, with beauty, with all of it, if you hate yourself, then money's to be made,
Yeah,
you know. And that is, it's criminal. It's criminal, and
it is.
it infuriates me.
It really is
Yeah.
criminal.
And so what were assumptions that people made about you when your style started in your 50s with your gray hair
What were the
and
criticisms, did you say? I none. Just that I had was really cool, that I was cool and had cool style. It's just always been something that other people embraced in me, and when I started, changing up the way that I dressed, got a little bit more free about it was when my friend said to me, "Oh, you should be on TikTok with your outfits right now." So it's always been such a positive it's been such a good source of positivity in my lifestyle. It's just so nice when you embrace who you are and other people thank you for it. What a concept. It's like when you radically self love yourself and other people are like, yeah, that's cool. I want to do that too. That's amazing.
well, it's so infectious. It's a power. I mean, that is a power. That is probably the biggest power, because we're clearly not meant to come here and hate ourselves. Like, that makes no sense.
I know, but you would think we are. I tell people all the time, I'm like, the universe wants you to be happy. They have no deal that gets them anything if you're miserable.
It wants you to know why you're here, and and the miracle of why you're here. And it's certainly not to deny or have shame or hate yourself.
Yeah, it's funny.
Well, that's the journey that we're on, is to find that.
I wish everybody were on it. I wish everybody gave a shit about why they're here. I really do. I wish everybody wanted to leave better than when they came, how they came. And yet it's mostly I want to leave richer than how I came. I mean, listen, I'm not against financial freedom either. I would like some of that in my life.
No, but I know what you're talking about. That comes first before, being a whole person. That
Yeah.
is just this greedy grabbing.
Yeah.
I had this hand reading the other day, and I'm always in this kind of tear. Oh my God, we got to change things right now. Like the animals, like everything, like this. I've got to make it better. And I get into this really frantic fight or flight thing, and it's a very natural state for me. And he said, you have to think about it like more than one lifetime. Like, what you're doing now is going to have an effect, but you might not see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of relieving.
I used to spend a lot more time thinking about coming back, and I don't anymore. I'm like, I'm good. If anybody asks me up there, I'm going to say, I'd like to stay up here for a few lives. Thank you. I don't want to come back to the Mad Max world that Donald Trump is creating where people are fighting for gas and oil and water.
But you might want to come back when everyone is functioning from self-love.
Yeah. Call me back then. Let's see
Okay.
what I'm wearing.
Okay. I can't wait. And so what was something that you once felt shame around, that you didn't like about yourself, that once you embraced it, it became a power?
What's interesting about me and shame is once I got sober, I kind of said no to shame because I didn't want to go back and replay moments that were shameful for me. And so I realized that those moments that I had were not necessarily my fault. Did I get blackout drunk and get pulled over by a cop and have to do a drunk test? Yes. Is the reason I'm an alcoholic my fault? No, I don't think it is. I think it all went back to my childhood and how I was treated and who I was raised by and how I was unnurtured. And so while I might not be thrilled with my behavior, I don't have any shame for it. I didn't kill anybody. And when I got sober, all of my shame from all of those things that used to make me crazy, boys or things I said or things I said to people, that stuff that would keep you up all night long and the next morning, I don't have that anymore. I don't have time for it. If you want me to feel ashamed about something, well, you go feel ashamed about it. I don't have time.
But was there something that even led to being an alcoholic? Like was there something you were denying or didn't like about yourself, and when you finally accepted it, it even helped you to get sober?
I don't think so. I think I've always been really um, proud in some way of who I was and what I had to say and how I carried myself. I think the alcoholism was me like fighting people that didn't want to listen to me or didn't want to hear me or didn't want me to be the kind of person I was. And I think once I stopped hiding behind, drunken silliness and just stuck to the kind of person I was, which was somebody who, said things pretty straight and didn't want to conform to the way other people were living their lives and just sort of like leaned into that, I was okay.
Yeah, I mean, so you just answered the question, really, that you were always your own person and fighting to be your own person, and you didn't get the nurturing to do that, and that once you accepted that that's who you are and were like, fuck it, that then.
Once I realized who I was wasn't the bad person everybody told me it was, I was like, okay, I'm good.
I had a very, very similar experience where I was too much, too passionate, too feeling, too outside of the norm in every way, and had to, didn't get love as a result. And and it's taken me a lifetime to not hate that part of myself, to
Yeah, because
just,
what we do is we end up not liking ourselves because we needed certain things, as opposed to not liking the people who didn't give us the things that we needed. Like, no, I'm not ever going to say like, oh, I need this and I know it's bad. I need these boundaries. It's like, fuck no. I am 100% authentic to my life and what I need. And as I say often, my favorite Glennon Doyle quote is, your job in this lifetime is to disappoint as many people as possible to avoid disappointing yourself. So I try really hard not to disappoint myself and who I am, because I know I'm a good person and I'm a good friend and I do a lot of things for other people. And so I'm allowed to have boundaries and I'm allowed to feel a certain way, and you cannot make me feel badly about that.
And was that I mean, that's having that kind of I mean, true self-love, and not to apologizing for yourself. Can you just take us a little bit on that journey, just a little bit of the journey of like what you were resisting until you got sober, and then, just kind of like what, just a little bit of that journey that took you to that place, so people can, if they hear that, it might click or resonate with them, and it's feel that
I
it's
mean,
something they.
I think that's why people drink. You drink away the things that you don't want to face. You drink away the fact. For me, I didn't know this, but I was molested as a kid. I was raped when I was 38 years old when I was blackout drunk in LA. You drink to forget all of these things that have happened to you, or that you were taught, or that you were told that you're too fat, that your boobs are too big, that you're too loud. All of these things were things that you grow up with other people telling you that give you shame. I just combated it by drinking. And so once I quit drinking, I lost the shame, because it was shame that I didn't think I deserved in the first place.
No, I completely hear you. I actually have come to a place where I call it love. That's how I make sense of it. It's love. I think in meditation and in prayer on a daily basis, I think love, because I literally have had the experience of love healing me,
Mm,
like healing my nervous system dysregulation and trauma. Like the more that I open my heart, the more healed I become. And
that's
it's just
amazing.
it's plain fact. The more that I feel the connection between, just imagine like this place in Mexico where you see all the stars, you feel like you're walking in a dome, and how I come from that, like we all do. And then my heart opens, the more regulated my nervous system is, and the better that I feel. And I've had a really, really big battle with that, and it's been very horrible. So I
Oh,
don't wish it on anyone. So
yeah. I mean, the way women live in fight or flight and have no idea is wild.
yes, it's been my whole life's journey to get out of fight or flight, and
Yeah.
like and put myself first. Like that's
Yeah.
been incredibly difficult.
It's hard to be human. It's hard to be a female human too.
It is. It is. But it's also pretty amazing, I think.
Well, it's better than the alternative.
Oh my God. And speaking and totally. And you're totally like, what? Tell me a little bit about that. Like men and
I got sober and they went away. My desire to deal with them went away. And I say now, like, I am available to be fully swept off my feet, but anything less, I'm not available for. And I feel okay about that. I feel 100% okay about that. I wish I felt that
wow.
way when I was younger.
Oh,
I feel like you have to work to get me, and I feel okay about that.
that is incredible.
And most aren't. Most aren't worth it.
Have you come close? Has it come close?
No, but I think my walls are so high, I don't even entertain the idea of men. Like when I'm going through my social media direct messages and a man's name comes up, I just delete, because it's just some guy saying like, "Hey pretty lady, I'd love to get to know you." Like, no, go away. No. It's bad. I'm bad. I'm like the opposite. I have no
Well,
give. That said, if I met somebody, and I have met people, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love them. They're so cool." I'd dive right back in. I just usually find out pretty quickly that they have too much going on that I don't want to deal with. And that's the other thing is, I don't want to take on somebody else's baggage that's not willing to unpack it themselves, which a lot of people aren't. A lot of
right.
people are like, "Oh my god, you're so fascinating. You have so many interesting things to say. What would you do about this?" Like, I'm not here to fix you. We're old. Come fix.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I mean, I've been married for almost 40 years, so, and I'm here to tell the truth, which is nobody can fix you but yourself. You can't,
Yeah.
no one, nobody can fix you.
No, and they shouldn't try. I, as I've said, like, it's not about finding your other half. It's about making yourself whole first, and then meeting somebody
Mhm.
that can add to your story. But I'm not looking for somebody to fill the gaps of my life.
And did you ever have any sort of, did that just come, or what, did you have vulnerable moments of feeling needy and wanting it and everything, and then you
Yeah,
just
my entire youth, all of it, my entire dating history was me compromising myself for assholes. Was me dating. No, I was a narcissist magnet. Again, it's all a
mm,
tumble back to my childhood.
mhm.
You have an
Mhm.
unnurtured childhood, you are a fucking narcissist magnet. The
Yeah.
end. And I was, and I couldn't figure out how to stop picking them. I mean, I do now. Now I hear them and I wouldn't pick them again, but
Uh-huh.
I'm at the point where it's like, ugh, why bother? I don't care enough to go sift through the mountain of men. If he's out there, he'll find me.
I mean, that's the height of magnetism.
Yeah.
Is to have that attitude. I don't think you need to. The whole point is that with everything in life, everything, the more you believe in yourself, have faith, keep your heart open, and try to soften the fear and release the fear, the more magnetic you are, and the more it will come to you. And it makes perfect sense. It's kind of like common sense, because then you're more naturally connected to your source.
Yeah.
And then the source is so infinite, and everything is connected to each other
Yeah.
already. It's been an incredible experience for me to get to that place, to have that kind of understanding. When I'm walking my dogs in the morning, like I listen a lot to Michael Singer, and who wrote Untethered Soul, and I don't know whether you know who he is or that book. He talks just all about that, to feel the feelings, like don't repress, don't suppress, don't stuff them down. No matter what they are, you can handle them. He says the height of yoga, the height of spirituality is to be able to handle anything. That is yoga. That is spirituality. And it's actually to be in life, not to be on a mountaintop, but in life, and that problems are the nectar of life.
Yeah.
And life is your friend.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a great way to look at this moment, or anything. Like, these are all tests. And if you're super triggered by what's going on, then you've got shit down there that needs to be released.
Yeah.
And you have to allow those feelings to be released, and not be afraid of them, not push them down, because then you're living your life in the trigger and afraid of the trigger.
Yeah.
And then you're not a whole person.
Mhm.
So you have to allow the feeling, and then you have to relax around it and release around it, just like relax and kind of almost lean back. And that the life force, the Shakti, the life force, will push it out of you, because that divine force, it's the same thing that will get rid of your cold. Like
Right.
its whole job is just for you to be whole and happy and healthy and thriving and functioning. That's its job.
Yeah.
So the only thing that's in the way of that is what you've suppressed.
Right. I always say sometimes you just have to lean into the suck and then move on.
Right. Right. It was similar. It's similar. It's just a different way of getting at the same thing. And so when I'm walking my dogs around the canals in Venice, and because he'll always say it's like a rock goes into the water. If you're triggered, like the waves are really, like really intense, but they'll calm down.
Yeah. Even just, people don't even take the time to understand that they've just been triggered and to look into what it means. Like when
Right.
someone says something to you that makes you mad, you're triggered. What are you triggered by? Figure it out. You'll be less triggered by it.
100% figure it out. And it's not the world's job to meet your need to not have the trigger.
Yeah.
like if you live your life avoiding the pain, like the reason that the world is so broken right now, and the reason that there's so much violence and war, and the reason why men are so fucked up, is because of this. Because there wouldn't be war if they could deal with their own pain.
Yeah.
If they could if they could release their own pain,
Yeah.
then they wouldn't need to be right.
I started writing something yesterday like, "Dear men, it's okay to cry." Like, yeah. I feel like I want it to get better, and then I look at the current administration and see all the rights they want to strip from women and think, well, never mind.
We're going to get there in some, I think we're going to get there in some kind of way that we don't even understand or
I
realize.
hope so.
I do. I think so. Me too. Of course, I hope so. So what is there any insecurity right now that you're working on overcoming?
Yeah, always body. I'm body dysmorphic. I'm so much better about it than I used to be. I don't have a scale anymore, but I'm constantly upset about my weight, and I am always looking to be better financially. It's an insecurity for me that just I don't do anything to make better, and I need to.
Can you explain both in each situation? Can you give a little more detail? Like, how does that look?
I just always think I'm fat. I mean, and I just deal with it by buying bigger pants, I guess. I just have it was baked into me by my mom.
Mm,
Um and then society.
Mm.
And when something's been baked into you for 60 years, it's really hard to get rid of. I don't have anything near what I used to have dysmorphia wise. Like, I, for the most part, don't give a fuck. But, every once in a while, I'm like, ugh, I can't. Like, I remember, like, people wouldn't take pictures of themselves or go somewhere because of how they felt. And that's not me at all. I don't care what you think about me. I'm down to just what I think about me.
What are some of the ways that how do you deal with that?
Just really thinking about chatting with myself and realizing, like, you're being ridiculous. You're just absolutely ridiculous. You're not even looking at yourself through your own eyeballs anymore. And, I can talk myself off a ledge here and there, but I'd love to be better about it.
Mhm. So it's like is it kind of a pervasive thing?
It was, but no, I don't think anything's that pervasive. I'm a pretty positive person for the most
Mhm.
part, but so when I do go down a rabbit hole, it's usually nice and deep, but doesn't last very long.
What will that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like me stoned on my couch for a week eating bad food and pretending that it doesn't, you know, matter. Just disappearing,
Mhm. So
you
that's the
know.
struggle. You've mentioned that a couple of times.
Yes. I mean, that's the part of being an
Disappearing.
alcoholic. You're an alcoholic because you want to disappear from the thoughts in your head.
Numbing. We just
Yeah,
like kind of numb. So has social media helped in the healing process around wanting to hide?
I absolutely think social media has been the best therapy that I've ever had. It's also been the only therapy I've ever had. But I do find my page very therapeutic for me because I'm working out problems in front of other people, and I'm writing things and saying things that I might not have thought about until I sat down to write that. And it's been so helpful for me and so therapeutic for me. I always say, I know people think I'm talking to them, but I'm really just talking to myself.
And how long does it take you to formulate something? Like what's the process?
Not very. I just sit down and I usually bank some outfits, so that I have some in my art on my arsenal because I need to post by like 8 o'clock every day, although I've been a little late lately.
Every
Um,
day, 7 days a week?
I was posting 7 days a week, and
Oh
now
my
I'm
god.
down to 5. And then once in a while, I'll take a day off here and there just because it's not helpful.
So you created that structure
So
of doing it that often. Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Well, I'm wondering, can I hear what that process is? Like for me, that's like wow. Like so, you
Oh,
would how
so
much time would that take up?
so
Like
like on a Sunday, for instance, I'll shoot 5 outfits, and that might take an hour to 2 hours at the most. And then
just doing the outfits. Yeah.
yeah, I sit at my computer and I've sent myself notes. I send myself notes all day, every day throughout the day of things I might want to talk about. And then I sit down and start writing in the morning. I would say I start at 7:30 and I usually post half an hour later. So it's not a lot.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
The voiceover for me is like 3, 2, 1. Like I'm like
Oh,
that.
yeah, I write it and read it. So it makes it really easy. I just think I just think that's my wheelhouse, that I'm good at that. And I think I've always been good at writing little 30-second snippets. It's how I started my career as a promotional commercial writer. And I think it stuck with me. Like, I'm writing
Yeah.
articles now, and it's a lot harder to write an article.
You think in sound bites.
Yeah. Or just in short, tell them what you're going to tell them why you told them in 30 seconds or less.
And have you struggled at all with the vulnerability, like how far you go? No.
No, no thought in my head about that. I probably would if I sat down and re-listened to all of them and thought about it, but
No.
I've never been somebody that holds anything back. I don't like, if you have a problem with it or you think it's gross or whatever, it's like, okay, cool, that's you. You don't I'm living my life. You're not living my life. I don't really care what you think.
Yeah, and then of course it's not going to be therapeutic unless you're completely out there. Otherwise, it's like you're it's a fake.
Yeah,
It's
the
not. It's
feedback is incredible. It's incredible.
and it's what people relate to.
Yeah,
It's how people can heal
it's just
themselves.
been the
Yeah.
most rewarding thing I've ever done.
Wow.
without a doubt.
It's amazing. Congratulations on all that. Really.
Thank you.
It's been, when was what would you say has been your greatest act of self-love?
Quitting drinking, for sure.
I knew you were going
Like,
to say that.
no questions asked.
What's the last cry? Deep cry.
My dad, which I do not want to get into right now. I just wrote about it. If anybody wants to read about it, they can go look at my blog. But yeah, my dad dying, aging, whatever he's doing, I'm not sure. But yeah, I just don't want to go there today. I don't have it in me. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's
Um,
okay.
just yeah, dealing with an aging parent. It's the stuff nobody tells you.
Yeah. I mean, I've got one, two that are 92.
Yeah, my dad's 96 and
It
should
is
go. He should go, but he's hanging on.
interesting
It's a
to
topic for another day. It's hideous
a
and it's
topic
what
for
nobody
another day.
talks about, and it has been the most horrific part of my life so far.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Well, death in general is just another one of those things that the denial of it and the fear of it, is what ultimately is creating like ageism and everything else. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, we definitely haven't figured out how to take care of people in this country.
that, and also just looking at understand, accepting, embracing death as part of
Yeah,
life.
yeah, 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 yeah. I definitely used to be more afraid of death than I am. Now it's more of like oh, I want to get so many things done. But it's not like a fear that I used to have, for sure.
I'm similar that way. It's like this wanting to get things done too and being less
Yeah,
afraid of it. I can relate. I can
yeah.
relate to that.
It's probably our age, probably getting older and realizing like, oh, it's not so scary.
Yeah. I mean, it is scary to me when I think about letting go of the people that I love so much, or like the beings that I take care of, like my dogs, and like,
Like
you know,
that, yes. The dogs, yes.
and I actually have we interviewed a doula for this series, and a death doula, and since then I've been thinking more about, I actually, whenever I'm in like kind of a crazy mania state of mind, I think, not centered, I always think, how would I want to be today if this was my last day or my last week?"
I love that. I think that clears up so many, like, why am I wasting time with this right now? It's literally a waste of time. I could be outside staring at a tree. I know those are such good, helpful tips for people that don't understand that if they just got out of their own way, they could get into something a little happier.
Right, and the brainwashing around it all is so insidious. Just that, somehow this idea that we live life not thinking about the only thing that we know we're going to do.
Yeah,
We're super toxic.
yeah.
I loved, by the way, one of my favorite things that you did was when you were talking about your neck.
Oh my God. Like that alone, I literally wouldn't let people take pictures of me. I wouldn't be in a picture. I wouldn't wear necklaces. And I don't even look at it now. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm wrinkled everywhere. I went and had Botox once. I had Botox shot in my neck to see if that would help. I've had people offer me facelifts. And now I'm just like, what was I thinking? I don't give a fuck. Like, if I'm being judged on my neck, if that is my value in this life, if my neck is the reason that I'm rich or poor or successful, like what the fuck? No. So yeah, that was a real holy grail of hatred for me, my neck. And I
So
don't
what did it take to do that? What did it
I honestly think that being on camera and no filtered and having people tell me that I'm beautiful 1,000 times a day was helpful. Just in the vainest of ways. Someone found something beautiful in me that I didn't see because I was too busy staring at my neck.
Well, we're mirrors.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of what you're experiencing, why it's been such an incredible experience, is because we're mirrors to each other, in all different ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that and if we had that, if we that would be such a change in the way that we function if we accepted that and understood
Yeah.
that we're all here to mirror each other and to heal each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
So when do you feel the most vulnerable?
Uh, Probably when I'm taping in my underwear and I'm thinking about all the crap that I ate the night before. Naked. Less than I used to, but or, financially when it's like I have bills to pay and I don't have any brand deals coming in, I start to let that I don't let the body dysmorphia seep in too deep. I just am like, shut the fuck up and I move on, which is new. The financial stuff I think is I let that take over a little bit too much and I let it build into a little bit of oh, we're gonna be in trouble, we're never gonna make money. And even that I will cut off pretty quickly compared to how I used to do it. But yeah, when I'm naked or when I'm paying bills.
When you're in that kind of like frantic anxiety, what's the mechanism? What do you do? What do you say to yourself?
I just tell myself this too shall pass and that you're wasting time on invaluable points. Like you're always gonna have money. You look fine. It's not what life is about. Go do something happy. The minute you stop worrying about it, you book a job. The minute you stop worrying about how much you weigh, you look perfect. Like the minute you let go, everything good happens in life, in general, in everything. Just let go. Just woof. Don't waste any more time on that stupid thought.
Right. It's the ultimate magnetism is the
Yeah.
letting go. What would you tell your younger self, the self that had to run, that that you had to deny or run from, like that self?
I mean, I think it's a lot of the same of like, stop worrying about loving everybody else and being loved by everybody else and just figure out how to love yourself. Like, as much as I liked myself and thought I was cool, I didn't love the parts of myself that would lead to me being who I am today, that vulnerability and that emotional sort of like empath and all those, just to sort of embrace all the things that I was told weren't good about me were the things that will actually make me who I am and be proud of who I am.
And what are those things?
Just being a kind person who cares about other people, who has boundaries, who says her boundaries, who tells the truth, who doesn't lie to people, who doesn't sugarcoat things, but who's an empath, who believes in people, who wants to do things for other people to make them happy. Like my love language is definitely acts of service. But again, it's for me, it's just all about meeting people where they are, not trying to make everybody think the same way you do, which I think I did a lot when I was younger because I was angry and nobody was listening to me. I kind of got lost there. Sorry.
No, no, it's really good. I mean, and I'm also thinking just how chronic people pleasing is for Gen Z and
Oh,
millennials.
I mean, if you can figure out why you people please, which I did, which was my childhood, which was trying to get somebody to love me,
Hmm.
it is a disease, people pleasing, an absolute disease and a worthless pursuit. I think the minute that you realize that you are your own hero, superhero. You
Hmm.
are the only person that's going to save you. You are the only person that's going to chart your course. You might have people that stand up for you, that believe in you, that back you. But if you don't believe it, it doesn't matter how much they believe in you.
Right. Exactly. You have to believe in yourself. Like
Yeah,
that to is to me that's why we're here.
100%. Yeah, agreed.
And that's why this moment could be a very in the from the optimistic place. I think we might be like super forced and like you can only make those small choices, and you got to go right to like believing in yourself is like the number one thing. Because if you don't believe in yourself, like you can't even, you shouldn't be, you shouldn't even walk out the front door.
I agree. I agree.
When do you feel the most beautiful?
Hmm. I don't know that I have an answer for that. I don't I don't it's not something I think about.
Really?
No. Maybe I
Why?
always feel beautiful. I don't know. It's not something I think about what I look like anymore. I don't. Someone said to me the other day, "You're so photogenic." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's because I feel really good on the inside because I haven't changed anything on the outside." I
Well,
think it
maybe that's when you feel the most
shines.
beautiful.
I think it shines through. I don't, the word beautiful is like so odd to me, you know. A bigger question for me would be like, when do you feel the most happy? Because that's something I work on more than being beautiful, you know?
When do you feel the most happy?
I think when I'm just around people that are just having a goddamn wonderful time in life and not worrying about things, out with friends at a dinner, being silly and just not worrying about life. And when I'm doing things for people that make them super happy, it could be anything, picking somebody up from the airport. Those are the things that make me really happy. And happiness definitely drives me forward in life more than what I look like.
Right. But when I say beautiful, it doesn't necessarily mean like, I mean, it could be that when you're happy. Like
Yeah.
it's not, I'm not talking about it in the sense of like the male gaze.
Ah,
I'm not talking about it in the patriarchal sense.
yeah. I don't think about it that way.
Well, I think that's actually incredibly liberating.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I'm not gonna lie. It has been. I wish I knew how it happened, when it happened, why it happened, but I just don't. I don't care about that. And I
Which
always
is
like. I care to put myself together and put my makeup on and do my hair a certain way, but it's to make myself me. Sometimes it might be makeup, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's dirty hair, sometimes it's not. It's whatever I do to get myself to look like me, to leave the world every day, to leave the house every day, has changed dramatically. And none of it really has anything to do with how pretty I think I look or how good I look in a certain outfit, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
well, you are explaining it, and I actually my interpretation of it is that that is beauty.
I like it.
That is beauty.
Okay. Like it. I'll take
To
it.
me, that is beauty. Like
Okay.
beauty isn't something that you beauty just is. It's not something that you
It's not a physicality to you.
yeah, it's not a physicality. It's
It's a
not
state
something
of being.
it's a state of being. Like I know
Okay.
that I feel more beautiful the older I get. I don't think anyone objectively would say that if I showed a picture from before and but they would feel that it's something that I feel and that
Yeah.
I'm emanating. So that's all that matters.
I guess I have such a fucking stickler for the whole concept of beauty and beautiful and who's pretty and what's not.
Yeah.
And I hate all of it.
Yes, me too.
It's like people say to me all the time, like, I can't believe you never got married. You're so pretty. Oh, so only pretty girls get married. Like, I just hate all the standards. Cause
Me
let me
too.
tell you, when I was growing up, I was not the pretty girl. Nobody ever told me every day, oh my God, you're so beautiful, like they do now. So to me, it's just like a weird sidebar of stuff. Like,
No,
I
but
think they think that way because I'm so confident. And my confidence is beautiful to other people. That's what they're seeing. It's not like your skin is so beautiful, your body's so beautiful. Although they might say those things, I believe what they're saying to me is, your confidence is so beautiful. How do I get that? Yeah. And I
exactly.
don't have to. Yes.
You have the answer. You just said it.
Just be. Just
Confidence.
Me. Yeah. Yeah.
Confidence, like just beautiful is not caring. Like it's like a flower in a tree doesn't go like, "Am I beautiful?" Like
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
it's redefining the word. I can tell when I asked it, you're more interpreting it in the lens of like, and I get it because I will even cringe. Everything in my body cringes when someone says, "I'm not pretty." Like that. If someone says,
Oh,
"I'm
I
not
know.
pretty,"
According to who?
I everything in my body cringes
Yeah, because we
because
grew up in a time where, I wasn't traditionally pretty. I was this curly haired little Jewish girl with giant boobs, and I wasn't traditionally pretty. I wouldn't say I'm traditionally pretty now. I just have a really good head on my shoulders and I look pretty from the inside out. And it helps my appearance. But we grew up at a time where everything was measured by prettiness, everything. And, you didn't get shit if you weren't as pretty as everybody else. Janice Ian, the most amazing song ever, 17. That was what life felt like for us back then. Uh, so yeah, my back hair gets up about that.
no, I could tell when I asked it, and I get it. I get where you're coming from. I understand, and that's why I'm asking it. I'm
Yeah.
not asking it for you to go, "Oh, I think I'm pretty because my," I'm. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
It's more bringing out and for people to hear and to understand what it actually is.
Yeah. I get it.
And whenever anyone says I don't feel pretty or I can't wear this, you said that earlier. All of it inside makes me go like this because yes, you can, and yes, you
Yeah.
are.
Can you show me the book where it says you can't wear that? I would like to read that chapter. Yeah.
At any age that you can't wear whatever size, whatever shape,
Yeah.
whatever age, whatever, it's fucking bullshit.
Nuts. It's nuts.
And it's nuts.
Yeah, I know. I listen,
It's insanity.
I wish that I could erase all of that from the world and just make every woman confident in who she is. That would be an incredible goal,
Mm.
but I don't know how.
If it helps, I just want to reinforce that what you're doing is absolutely incredible. It's resonating. I love it, and just keep going.
I'm glad. Well, I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you finding me and taking the time to talk to me and listen to all of the Michigots that just went on here this morning.